Welcome back. My name's Kara, and if you have been here before, you know what this channel's about, but just in case you're new here, welcome. My name's Kara. I make a video every week about keeping a low-buy strategy for myself for the year 2020, and I'm doing that because I actually have a fairly low income and a super tight budget, and I am trying to pay off a lot of student loans. So my goal for the year has been to use 75% of my net income to pay those loans, and I have made it once. I've been close a lot. And so yeah, it's time for my monthly check-in. And for those of you who have been here before, yes, you can see that my hair is different. I actually spent a little bit of time this last week watching quite a few YouTube tutorials on how to cut your own bangs, and this morning I did. And I'm pretty happy with them. I'm still getting used to how they behave. I haven't had bangs for years, but I'm pretty happy because I did it myself, and yeah, here we go. And they're gonna grow out fast anyway, so I like them. I'm totally happy, but it is definitely something to get used to. And I appreciate YouTube a great deal. So let's see. What are we checking in about? Yes, the low buy. So how did it go is the question I wrote to myself. Well, about 50% of the time it went awesome. And about 50% of the time it seems I really struggled this month once again with some impulse buys, but we will get to that. My rules, they are simple. The first rule is I leave my money at home, and that is to prevent impulse buys, and I broke that rule a bit this month. My second rule, I don't do any online shopping. I don't rent or subscribe to anything online that has any cost. My third rule is to use up every bit of what I have before I can buy a replacement or a refill. Fourth, I can buy anything that is in my budget up to the budgeted amount. Oh wow, yeah, these are gonna drive me a little crazy. Yeah, I can buy what's in my budget up to the budgeted amount that is set in advance. Fifth rule is that I can go to the doctor or the dentist if I need to. This is about low buy. This is not about extreme wreck your health to save $1. But thankfully I don't need to do that too often. Next is sort of a rule that is specific to me. At the place where I work, I can earn a $10 gift card about once a month by walking to work, and I can use those at the store for whatever I want because they're only good at the store. And then my last rule is that I can spend cash that I earn doing side gigs if I'm up to 2 months ahead on rent. And lately I haven't had those side gigs because of the pandemic, because most of my side gigs are cleaning in people's homes and they tend to be older people. So anyway, those are the rules, and how did it go keeping them? Well, I struggled a lot with rule number 1, and it's strange because I went back looking through my statement to see where had I spent money unintentionally, or at least unplanned. Obviously, I spend the money with intent. I carry the card into the store and use it and pay for things, so there's intent, but they were unplanned. They were not supposed to happen. Yeah. I did do a little bit of online shopping, and I have a cute little clip to share that will explain why.
One day I shopped online, and I can't remember what day specifically it was, but early in the month I did end up shopping online, and part of it was because I was kind of keeping my rules, but I was also breaking them. I was keeping the rule of not buying anything until I've really used up the previous iteration of whatever it is. And but I ended up shopping online to replace it, and I ended up buying one more thing while I was there, which is the part that breaks the rules. But the thing I was replacing, let me show you what I mean by you use it up. I owned this pair of pants that's next to me for, let's see, I have memories of wearing them in like 2012, so these pants were at least 8 years old. I don't remember when I got them, but I wear them at work, and I guess the light doesn't show it. My shadow is blocking the issue here. But anyway, these pants, let me see if I can even hold this. Let it focus. They have these gigantic tears in the back end. And I have been wearing them at work knowing that the fabric in that booty area was getting kind of weak. So I wore them to work every day for the last year and a half, but I was wearing leggings under them for the last month or so. And that was partly because it was nice and insulating while it was cold out still. But it was a really good thing I was wearing leggings because last week I was working and I had to squat down low to put something away and my pants just whoop, ripped right across the back of both legs. So that's what I mean where you use stuff up until it is used up and then you can get something more. Yeah.
So, yeah, I really used up a pair of pants and got to replace them with some pants that I actually used my REI dividend to buy a really great pair of work pants that I'm really proud to have, and I expect to get years and years of use out of them. They're a really cool company that makes workwear specifically for women. So I mean, I like the way Carhartts look, but Carhartts are cut for men, and these are kind of a female styled Carhartt, and they look great, and I love wearing them to work. I'm not gonna model them, but you know what Carhartts look like. So I'm just really grateful that I did have that REI dividend available, and I was able to buy a work pair of pants without spending, I think I spent 25 or so of my own money, and I have pants that should last years to come once again. Let's see. The biggest challenge I had this month, as you may guess, was keeping rule number 1, to leave my money at home and just avoid impulse purchases completely. If I had kept rule number 1, I now know what an impact it would have made. So anyway, it's a really important rule, and looking at the impact helps me really understand. I made a good rule for myself, and it's obviously a challenge for me and something that I need to work on. So my actual stats for this month are that I paid $1,658 on my student loans, and that represents 65.3% of my net income. So I didn't make my whole year project goal of 75%. I did just manage to squeak by and make my revised goal for May of 65%. And I managed to just squeak by because last weekend I got a side gig that was a wonderful surprise. The couple down the street that I tend to clean for called me and asked me to weed their flower beds, and that's something that I could do outside without interacting with them. So I felt like that was a great opportunity. So I did several hours of gardening, and they paid me very nicely, and it made the difference so that I hit my revised goal at least. But if I had kept rule number 1, let's see, like what I made was 65.3% of my net income paid on debt. If I had kept rule number 1, I would have hit at least 80%. So it made a big difference, the amount of money that I spent without really a plan or intention and will, and just doing it right, doing my own plan the way that I say that I want to. So apparently that's why it's rule number 1. And, you know, if you have an idea of how I can work on overcoming this thing, I mean, it's a really easy decision to leave my wallet at home in the morning. Why don't I always do it? If you have any tips for me, just, I mean, should I just go set the thing on fire? I've often heard about habits like you need to make the right thing to do the easiest thing to do. So like I'm trying to think of ways that doing the right thing, leaving my wallet at home, remains the easiest option, and that getting it out to take it with me is harder to do. Like, do I need to get a box or a lock, or like what should I do? I'm going to be thinking about that. it obviously would make a difference that I want to have that impact hitting my student loans, not just frittering away things I don't even remember. So, what else is going on lately? Well, we had some chicks hatch in our backyard, and a few of the eggs actually never hatched. Anyway, we've got 3 little chickies, and they are so cute. There's one that's kind of bright yellow, and one that's peachy colored, and one that's brown. We're all pretty sure that they're all roosters, though. And I don't want to kill them. I'm glad we don't have to, actually. The people who own the house have some friends nearby who would like to raise roosters and have what they need to do that. So I guess all of our chicks just might be roosters. We'll wait a little longer and keep checking. And it's hard to sex a chicken. You go research that. It's kind of weird. So we're going to wait and see and hope that they might actually be hens. But we will be giving maybe all of our new chicks away. This morning I went open water swimming for the first time this season. It's actually Monday when I film, so today's Memorial Day, and this morning was actually nice and sunny, and then the rest of the day it poured rain. But this morning, before it was actually raining, I struggled to put on my wetsuit and rode my bike in a wetsuit down to the beach, and then went swimming, and it was very cold. It was very cold, but it felt great to be out in the water, and I had a really good time. It was relaxing. The wetsuit was adequate, so I mean, sure, it was cold, but I was not in any danger. It was going to be just fine. And I'm looking forward to going again. I think I can manage to swim 3 mornings a week right now, so gonna get out there again in a couple more days. And it felt great. Yeah, I'm excited about doing that this year. And then I think finally the house is kind of ready, and I think I'm moving this weekend. I need to move from this bedroom to a room upstairs because the people who own this house are moving here, and the floor plan of the house is such that they want to make the upstairs a more independent rental space and live themselves on the main floor of their house. That makes perfect sense. And while the pandemic is happening and they're coming here from farther away, it will also help us all work out how to stay separated for a couple weeks before we all just live together and mingle and make sure that everybody's like not sick. So I think I'm finally moving upstairs next week, or this coming weekend. But today I learned that they'd like me to move into a different bedroom than I had been expecting. So I definitely spent part of today like mapping out the tinier than expected room and figuring out how will I fit everything I need to into that space. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's the May check-in. I got bangs. I went swimming. We have some chicks who are hopefully chicks. And I might see you next week upstairs. I'd like that. So I'll see you in a week.